Welcome to Java for Beginner Part 1. In today's video, we are going to cover what is Java, how to install Java, run basic operations of Java on JShell. So let's start with what is Java. Java is an object-oriented programming language. Java was intended to write once and run anywhere. Compiled Java code run on all platforms that Java supports. And Java codes are compiled into something known as bytecode rather than the native code and can run on any JVM or Java virtual machines. Java uses JIT or just-in-time compiler, which compiles the bytecode into native machine code, compile it just in time to run. The native code compilation for a block of code is done by JIT as and when it needs the block to execute. Java is an open source software. Open SDK version of Java is the open source. It was created in 1995 by Sun Microsystem and now owned by Oracle. Java runs on more than 3 billion devices. It is a multi-platform programming language and arguably one of the most popular programming languages. Java also provides functional capability, meaning functional program type capabilities. Now let's look into how to install Java. Now I already installed Java in my machine, but I'm going to show you how to go about installing it. So for that, what we can do is we can just do Java AC download. And if we do that, it's going to take us to the Java download page on Oracle. And Java 19 and Java 17 both are available. Java 17 is the LTS. LTS is nothing but long-term support. But Java 19 is the latest one and it is the released version. I have downloaded Java 19. So this is how you have to install Linux. It provides documentation on how to install Linux. You basically have to get this start.czip file and run. Similarly for Mac OS, we can use start.czip. And for Windows, we can either use a zip file or an exe or MSI. I use the MSI version to install it. And after I install the Java, it got installed in C program files Java JDK 19. And all I had to do is I had to go and add the path into environment variable. And that is what you have to do. After you add it to the environment variable, you can open a new command prompt. And after that, if you do Java version, it's going to show the current running version of Java. And you can see I have 19.0.1. And similarly, I can try out the JShell. And you can see for JShell also I have 19.0.1 version, which comes with the same JDK. Now, if you have any problem troubleshooting the installation, the Oracle has enough documentation on how to troubleshoot Java installation. But in my experience, it's pretty straightforward and very easy to download and install Java. Now that we install Java and we get a very basic idea of what Java as a programming language is, we're going to go into detail of some of the concept of Java in later videos. For example, what exactly object-oriented programming means, how does Java support object-oriented programming, what are the functional constructs Java supports, how the JVM works, how the just-in-time compiler works. This concept needs some introduction before I go there so that you can clearly understand what they are. For the time being, let's just keep those things in mind. Is that JVM is a Java virtual machine which helps to run Java program in a machine, and just-in-time compiler is a compiler engine which compiles the code. And then we'll get into the details in later videos. Now let's start with JShell. So JShell is nothing but a Java REPL tool. REPL or REPL. Read, eval, print, loop. So it's essentially as and when we write, it is going to eval the code and print out, and it will do it in a loop. So for the JShell, we can just start with /help, which is going to show different options in JShell. First, I have to go into JShell. So let me get into JShell. And now you can see we are inside JShell, and now if I do help, it gives all the helps in terms of what can be used for what: list, edit, drop, save, open, bunch of option. Now for a starter, we are going to do very simple things. So I'm not going to get into the details of each of these options in JShell. For most cases, we will not need if we use an IDE for programming. But at some point in time in a video, I'm going to cover all this. For today, let's just start with a very simple Java program, and then we'll go from there. So first we are going to do is we're going to just find out what is the value of 1 plus 2. Now this is something we do every day using calculator. Calculator internally uses some programming language, and there are calculators which are built with Java as well. When the calculator code runs, it essentially uses something like what we are going to do right now. So if we have to find out what is 1 plus 2, all we have to do is 1 plus 2. And this is going to give us 3 here, as you can see. And you can see that for the 3, it says $1 equal to 3. The $1 is nothing but a temporary variable created by the JShell. And what is variable? Variable is nothing but a placeholder. It is a placeholder for a value which can vary. So if we do a $1 now, it is just going to print the same value. And if we want to do a 3 plus 1, instead of doing 3 plus 1, we can always do $1 plus 1, and this is going to give us 4. And it is saved in a variable called $3. So if we do $3, it's going to give 4. And here, in an expression like 1 plus 2, the plus is nothing but an operator. An operator can be plus, minus, multiplication, and division. And there are few others, but for the time being, let's just focus on plus, minus, multiplication, and division. And the 1 and 2 on both sides of the operator are called operands or literal. Now what we can do is we can try with something like $3 minus 1. And this is going to give us 3 as an answer, because $3 is 4. So we subtracted 1 from 4 and we got 3. Now in a case where if we use some random value, then what is going to happen is the compiler is going to throw an error. Throwing an error means compiler could not understand what we are doing. It just errored out. So if we do something like a minus b, where we have not defined a or b, it is just going to throw an error here, and you can see it is throwing an error saying cannot find symbol variable a, cannot find symbol variable b. Next, what we can do is we can declare a and b as integers. And integer is nothing but a positive or negative whole number that is not a fraction. And when I say variable, so if I declare int a is equal to 5, int b is equal to 4, all I am saying is a variable of type integer, which is nothing but a placeholder, is going to hold an integer value, and same for variable b, and I am assigning a value of 5 and b a value of 4. And now if I enter, you can see that a and b both are declared. Now if I just say a, it is going to print the value of a. If I just say b, it is going to print the value of b. If I say a plus b, it's going to give the response as 9. And if I say a minus b, it's going to give 1. If I say a multiplied by b, it is going to give 20. And if I say a by b, it's going to give 1, because a and b are both integer. So when we divide them, it is going to ignore the fraction. Now if we want to declare something as fraction, then we have to declare it as float or floating number. And floating number is nothing but a positive or negative whole number that can be a fraction, and the fraction is represented with a decimal point after the number. And the other thing with operator is, if we do a multiplied by b plus 5, you'll see that the response is 25. The multiplication happens before plus, and it is as expected. It will be multiplication, then division, then plus, then minus. If we want to have plus here to be executed first, we have to put that in a bracket. For example, we can do a multiplied by, and inside a bracket we can say b plus 5. Now the bracket will be executed fast, and you can see b plus 5 is 9. 9 multiplied by 5 is 45. This shows you very simple introduction to JShell and what all we can do. JShell is mainly used for quick prototyping or quickly trying out things that we want to try out. So this is the beginning of understanding Java. We started off with what is the explanation of Java, and I showed how to install Java from Oracle website, and then a very quick introduction of JShell, which can be used for doing quick prototype. In my next video, I'm going to cover how we can use Visual Studio Code as our IDE and start writing some program in Java. Start with basic concept like class and methods, and then take it from there. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel and you think you are getting value out of this channel, please subscribe to this channel. And thanks so much for watching this video.